Well, President Trump told us in his interview that when all is said and done, his claim about Obama spying on him will be vindicated. Watch. On March 4th, 6:35 in the morning, you're down in Florida and you tweet, "The former administration wiretapped me, surveilled me at Trump Tower during the last election." How did you find out? You said, "I just found out." How did you learn that?
I've been reading about things. I read I think it was January 20th, a New York Times article where they were talking about wiretapping. There was an article, I think they used that exact term. I read other things. I watched your friend Bret Baier the day previous, where he was talking about certain very complex sets of things happening and wiretapping. I said, wait a minute, there's a lot of wiretapping being talked about. I've been seeing a lot of things. Now, for the most part, I'm not going to discuss it because we have it before the committee, and we will be submitting things before the committee very soon. That hasn't been submitted as of yet. But it's potentially a very serious situation.
Well, in that interview, we just heard President Trump appear to credit Fox's Bret Baier for the idea that President Obama spied on him during the campaign. Bret never actually reported that, but we're pretty sure the president was referring to this interview that Bret conducted with the House Speaker, Paul Ryan. Watch.
There's a report that June 2016, there's a FISA request by the Obama administration, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, to monitor communications involving Donald Trump and several other campaign officials. Then they get turned down, and then in October they renew it, and they do start a wiretap at Trump Tower with some computer and Russian banks, and it doesn't show up anything by reporting. Have you heard that?
Well, again, and like I said, none of us in Congress or anybody that I know in Congress has been presented with evidence to the contrary of what you just said.
So you believe it to be true?
Yeah, that we have seen no evidence that anybody in this campaign or any other American was in on it with the Russians to meddle in our elections. We know they meddled. Russia's an adversary, and that's something we have to work to counteract.
I got it. But my point is that the Obama administration was pretty aggressive. I have a couple of.
No, I hear your point. But I'm saying, but I've seen nothing of that. I've seen nothing come of that. That's my point.
Well, to the panel, Bret clearly said report of a FISA request in his questioning of the Speaker of the House. Back with us, Daniel Halper, Molly Hemingway. Molly, what's going on here exactly?
Well, I think Bret was pretty clear about what he was asking
Yes.
about, these reports that you're reading in all these different newspapers, these accounts of wiretapping, and he's asking Paul Ryan. He asks him 3 different times. He says, have you heard that? Paul Ryan says, yes, but we've seen no evidence, or he says, we've seen no evidence contrary to what you've just said. He says, do you believe it to be true? He says, yes. And Baier again asks him, so, you know, my point is, if this is true, the Obama administration was being pretty aggressive, and Ryan once again says, yeah, no, I get your point. I'm just saying we've seen nothing come of this. I don't see, I watched it that night too, and it did seem like Paul Ryan was almost confirming what was being said in these reports that were the topic of the day.
Interesting.